Hello, and welcome to another episode of Influence and Growth Mastery. Today, we're going to be talking about sales, marketing, and integrity. With me, I have Jason Integrity. Jason is a sales strategist, and I met him several months ago through Alignable. He and I co-lead the sales strategy group together, hosting Smart Connect meetings, masterminds as well. Jason also leads several other groups, which I'm going to let him mention here just shortly. But I first met him attending one of his, and I'm going to say fabulous, training sessions that he led. I've also attended several other of his training sessions, and I can't remember if the first one was the Smile Network or Don't Be a Goofball, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But anyway, Jason Integrity is a man of integrity, and his business name, Integrity Go, fits him very well. Jason, I want to welcome you to the show today. I appreciate you coming on, and I would love for you to introduce yourself and your business.
Thanks so much for having me, Tonya. So I'm Jason Integrity. I own a company called Integrity Go, and I'm a sales strategist. What we do is help you with your marketing and sales conversation. At no point should you be trying to sell your products or trying to convince people to buy. So through your marketing, let's attract your tribe, and then let's solve the problems. Easy peasy. Every day's a holiday after that.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. So, Jason, I like to have these podcasts as discussions, and through the discussions, I may ask you some questions, probably several questions, but I noticed in going through your website, I kind of, scoped you out a little bit, but, I know you're an Army veteran. Mm-hmm. And so talk about how being a veteran and how having the discipline from, being in the Army, how those skills that you learned there, how they translate to your success in marketing and sales.
That is an excellent question. So the military teaches you a lot of things as far as putting things in order and being organized and understanding where we're going before we start. So this directly translates to running a business. So when you are in the Army, there's a mission, and you have a daily mission, and then there's an overall mission. And then if you happen to be deployed, then there's that mission. So daily, what do you have going on in your operation? And how does that get you to the next point of business? And then how does that support your monthly plan, your yearly goals, your 5-year plan, everything that you have going? So it's all putting together this everyday routine that makes you a little bit better, makes you a little bit smarter, it improves your processes, and overall improves your business. So you are connecting better. So it's possible to plan all of these things out. So the better the plan, the easier the execution. So when you are thinking a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, when that time comes, it's a breeze because we've prepared for this. We've trained for this. So this is why it's super important to work on yourself and read and go to webinars and masterminds so that you are constantly improving yourself and your process. And if you get lost in that, the business thrives as a result.
Having goals and having that structure is absolutely critical. I noticed oftentimes I find myself getting in the rut of just being busy. And then you get off track from following that plan or that goal. And when you do, you almost set yourself up for disaster. Mm-hmm. And so you have to find yourself, stopping and saying, okay, where did I get off track? And finding that structure again, or finding those goals and understanding exactly where that end place is.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I agree with you. You've got to have those goals. And I
Yeah.
find, and I'm sure you do too, but you find so many people that don't work from a structure or
Mhm.
even have set 3 month goals, let alone a 1 month goal, but three
Mhm.
month goals, 6 month goals, annual goals, or even 5 year goals.
Mhm. It's difficult because you find yourself in the business, and I'm just trying to make it, and I'm trying to make enough to cover all the bills, or I'm trying to make enough to
Mm-hmm.
pay the bills and then take my family on vacation. I'm trying to make sure that these things
Yeah.
are covered, and if you fall behind on any of the stuff you have going mentally, now it feels like the whole business is caving in around you. The
Mm-hmm.
the beauty of having a plan is I don't have to think about this every day. Just stick to the plan,
Right.
and stick to the plan. Keep doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm at this networking event on these days. I'm uh, I'm doing outreach on these days. I'm putting out content on these days. Stick to the
Mm-hmm.
plan, and then now when you get that uneasy feeling because things aren't falling the way that you think that they should, now you can just
Mm-hmm.
revert back to the plan. So it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
am I doing everything that I said I was supposed to, or did I miss something? And now you can kind of make sense out of where you are, and you can see what fell through the gaps, and then you just adjust the plan. So the plan isn't working if you're not on plan B or C or F or Q, right? Because plan A never works. So you at
Right.
least have to have that first plan going, and then now you understand your fail safes and what you got to put in to make the adjustments. But you
Right.
need that initial plan to get going.
Absolutely, you do. So, what about your passion for sales? How did that begin? And then how have you maintained it over the past 2 decades?
I'm kind of built for this. It's a little
Mm,
bit weird. So I've been in sales my entire career, but I really learned about connecting with people in the military. I learned very early it is not what you know, is who you know if you're trying to get something accomplished. So who can I connect with? Who can I get to support the mission that I have in front of me? Who's on board? Who's not on board? And who can I trust? Right. So these are all things that as a business owner you utilize every day. So the selling came in quite naturally because I like connecting with people. So once you connect with people, then it's like, okay, so what's the problem? What's wrong? How can I help you? So now that I've helped you with your problem, who else can we help? And then as you start building out your network that way, now all of a sudden you know a lot of people. So now you connect whatever product or service that you have to the people. Hey, I think this service can help you with that problem. And now all of a sudden we're in sales.
I love the way you think about sales. You and I have been on target with sales ever since I've listened to your first training session. And so when you created Integrity Go, you teach businesses that foundation of marketing and sales. And I noticed on your website, you use the words honest connections
Hmm.
fueled by purpose.
Hmm.
So define audience or honest connections in that context of sales and marketing.
Yeah, you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself.
Mhm.
People like you for you, not for the facade that you created or this image, right? But for who you are naturally. And this is how we are able to connect because
Yeah.
who you are is very similar to who I am. And your core
Yeah.
values sound a lot like things that I care about.
Yeah.
So now we have a genuine connection to where we can start building and growing. And once we have that, now I can start earning trust. So let me just show up as who I am consistently, which is very easy because I started off being authentic, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden we have a relationship and we can grow. And you're open to telling me the problems that you can't solve yourself. You know, we all put up our guard. And if I don't trust you, you can't know what's under the hood, right?
Right.
Because you're going to try to use that to take advantage of me. But if there is an honest connection to where you understand that I legitimately just want the best for you. And if I can't help you, let me point you in the right direction. So if we start the
Mhm.
relationship off that way, then we can only thrive. We can only win from there. So
Mhm.
from there, once you understand our purpose and how our purpose is aligned, now it's a very, very intimate conversation because what you're trying to accomplish, I'm trying to accomplish too. Maybe we can do this
Mhm.
together. right?
Right.
So now you're not in the fight alone, and you have support. And as two different business entities, now there's some overlap because I can support you in a way that you didn't have before, and vice versa. And so if we got a community that's thinking that way, then everybody wins.
Right. Well, honesty is so important in building a business, is important in a relationship. And there's so many other things that go with that. But when you're having those conversations, it's finding out what's working well, what's not working, what do you need? But also, Jason, I have found that sometimes when you're building that relationship, there may be things that you can assist them with. You may not be able to assist them with everything, but rather than passing off the entire relationship, why not bring somebody else in for the parts that you can't assist? So, I mean, oftentimes when you're having that conversation, I think that people do trust you because you can say, you know what? These areas that you're having difficulty with, I can help you with 1, 2, and 3. But 4 and 5, that's not my area of expertise. But I have John Doe over here who is very well versed in 4 and 5. Would you object to let's have a conversation with them, bring them into the conversation, and see if maybe we can work out some type of opportunity where they can work with us. I've done several things like that where it's worked out that way rather than moving the entire business relationship off to someone else. And sometimes you may have to do that, but I find that people really begin to trust you and like you because you are willing to do that. And honesty, integrity, those types of things really are foundational pieces to building authentic relationships, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There
are so many things that are fake, and we see it all the time, right? If you go on Instagram, none of that is real, right?
No.
So you have
LinkedIn. Spam.
Yeah, right. So it's important, especially post-COVID, right? So COVID forced everybody in the house. And now all of a sudden you realize you don't really have that many friends.
Right.
Right. So, and additionally, the people who are reaching out, you don't necessarily have that kind of relationship with them to where you trust them. And a lot of people have to take that inward look and say, okay, I don't have quality relationships, whether personal or business. And I would like to have that. So where are all of the real people now? So it's not on social media. So how do we filter through all of this to attract my tribe, my people that I can relate to and start to build with? So being authentic is more important now than ever because we can fake everything now. And with the advancements of AI, like you don't even know if you're talking to a person now, right? So when you do have an opportunity to connect with somebody, let's have a real connection and we can hold on to it and grow from it.
Yeah, you're right. Oftentimes, I'm just going to throw this out there through LinkedIn. I get so much in mail that are the copy and paste messages. And so, we have the opportunity to either ignore them or we can respond to them, educate them or whatever. And oftentimes, I will respond to them when they ask me the question about, how do you do your lead generation or how do you get the most of your business? And when I tell them by building relationships, oftentimes I'll get the question, how is that working for you? And they're shocked when I say it's working very well.
Yeah. And way better than the spam you sending, right?
Yes. And when I say it's working very well, and then I tell them, my entire business for the last 4.5 years has been built upon building relationships. And they'll come back and say, well, I can get you X percentage more business by doing this. And I'm like, I'm not interested until you and I build a relationship, and then we'll talk about it. But they don't want to spend the time to build that relationship.
That's right.
And so, I want to build my entire business upon a relationship. So that's what I really like about, Alignable, and being able to network through that system or that platform. Because that's what we're able to do there and have those conversations. And so many that really takes me through to the next point is so many business owners make mistakes when they are trying to make a sale or even marketing. And so what is one tip that you would throw out to the community? You call it a tribe. I call it a community. But I love the word tribe. I may take that from you. I know several people do call it a tribe, but what is one tip that you would throw out today to share with people about eliminating the mistake that they make in sales and marketing today?
Stop trying to sell it. Like, I think that's the biggest one. You're going into every conversation trying to sell it. And people can smell that desperation. People can smell that you're not really interested in them and that you're just trying to sell something. So if you are actually connecting first, hey, I'm Jason. Nice to meet you. Tell me about your business, what you got going on. In that conversation, you'll find an avenue to where your product can help them. But you have to actually talk to people in order to get to that point. So once you make that connection and the conversation is comfortable, now you can ask real questions about what they have going on. And questions are the answers. So the questions that you're asking will lead them down that path to, all right, so what do you do again? Because you're asking questions that nobody else has asked me, number one. And you're asking very smart questions, so you must be very smart. So now there is some value in this conversation. But if you're just trying to push a product, hey, what if I can get you the blah, 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 blah? I don't want that. Not from you, because it's a catch coming. And you're going to try to charge me way too much for something that I don't even want yet. So no. So the answer is always no. So when you have all of the people on LinkedIn, they're sending out that pitch, they understand that that's going to get a 2% conversion rate. And for whatever reason, they're okay with 98% saying no. But from a relationship standpoint and from a brand building standpoint, it's horrible because you're missing out on all this opportunity to connect. And had you shown up as a real person, it will naturally flow as opposed to you trying to sell a product.
Right. 100% agree. So with you being in sales and marketing for 2 decades, how do you always stay up to date and improve upon yourself? Is that through masterminds, retreats, reading?
Yes, all of the above. I know enough to know that I don't know anything. Right. So we got to keep growing, and the technology moves so quickly. You got to stay up to date. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I'm always in the middle of a book. And there's even if you think you understand all of this particular thing, somebody shows up with a different perspective, and it changes what you were thinking. So I'm a career student. Like I love learning a different way. I love for my opinion to be challenged because you may offer something that I never thought about, and that makes me better as a result. So a lot of us tend to hold on to this information and the education we've received up till now as if it's timeless, but it changes. It changes so quickly, and very, very quickly it becomes out of date. So it's like, yeah, that's what we used to do. So for example, cold calling. Cold calling was a thing that you had to do. But now cold calling is a dead technology. Since the invention of caller ID, cold calling has lost all of its effectiveness. So, and it's very difficult to catch somebody who is willing to have an intimate conversation with a stranger out of the blue. So you have to put things in place, and you got to adjust And understanding the new tech and understanding social media will help you make those adjustments. But if you're not studying all of this stuff, you're going to be lost. And when the new trend comes, now here you Johnny come lately, and the rest of the world has already implemented the new change, the new strategy. So it is to your advantage to stay on YouTube and read the books and go to the masterminds, because you're going to get introduced to a different perspective of what you already know, which makes you better.
Mm-hmm. I was listening in a mastermind just yesterday morning. It was a replay because I actually missed the live of the mastermind, but it was an influencer in the seven figures, but he was talking about content, and he was saying when it came time to reach out to him, he was saying, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so, but I'm going to tell you how things work for me. And I thought this was so interesting. He said, this is what I tell, my audience, and this is the way that I do things. He said, you either need to DM me on Instagram or DM me on Facebook through Messenger. He said, don't call me and don't send me an email. Mm-hmm. And he said, you can text message me if you have my phone number. But he said, I do not respond to emails and I do not respond to phone calls. He said, number one, if I get a strange telephone number that's not in my contacts, you're a spammer. And if I get an email that I'm not expecting, if I've not sent it to you and you're responding back, you're a spammer. And so, or something that he has subscribed to.
Yeah.
So he said, you are a spammer and I don't want your messages. And so I thought, that is such a correct way that we all think today. Mm-hmm. And so the story to that is people are connecting on social. They want a DM or they want a text message. And so, I have chat software. I've not implemented yet because I just recently purchased it. But, we have to find the ways that people want to connect and connect that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing just over and over and over that people are over the in-mail messages that are salesy. Mm-hmm. And so it goes back to that tip I asked you to give a while ago. We've got to stop doing what people don't like. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing more and more and more people want to build relationships. They want to connect.
It's so important. So this is when you have the microwave thinking where I want it now, so I can send out a bunch of messages on LinkedIn. I can use a bot and I can reach 1,000 people today. And then let's just see what happens. But that's minimal effort. And I touched 1,000 people. Somebody might say, yeah, but mm-hmm. that's very, very short-term thinking. You're not thinking lifetime value with this customer, number one, because you're not nurturing them along the way. And nobody needs you right now. And I think this is the thing. If you have, if you offer a service, only 3% of the market is actually looking for you right now. So mm-hmm. now you're putting out 1,000 messages, hoping to get a 2% response to reach 3% of the market. So now we're in fractionals, right? So it's not conducive to doing good business and building relationships. And that's what we need for our business to still be here 5-10 years from now. Somebody has to be loyal to us. So if we're telling them they're not worth the time for even an introduction, then how do you build that brand loyalty? And I think that's the thing that a lot of people miss just in trying to fast forward the process. But mm-hmm. embrace the process, embrace the journey, talk to people, build relationships, because they'll be with you forever. And I mm-hmm. think the goal should be, okay, what is the lifetime value of a customer as opposed to how can I sell something today?
Mm-hmm. And in that first contact, mm-hmm. not going to happen in the first contact.
Right.
So why is energy so crucial in a business?
because you feel it. Good energy attracts good energy, and everybody buys based on emotion. So if the conversation feels good and this feels right and it makes sense, we got a deal. Right. So if we started off with good energy, and I can get you to understand that, listen, I just want you to win, and everything is positive. I want to positively impact your business. I don't want to become a bill for you. I want to become an investment, where it's like, man, I only paid Jason X and I've already made this. Like, that's outstanding. So, Jason, what else do you have? Right. So this is how we build the relationship. So good energy is important. Energy is it should be the motivating factor for everything, because it's endless, it's timeless. And if it feels good, you keep going, and that transference of energy, it feels good. So if I approach you with good energy, even if you're having a terrible day, the day just got better, right?
Yes.
And if every interaction with me feels good, then you're going to want to talk to me more.
You're right.
So we keep it going. Additionally, if I give you good energy, you're going to give good energy back. It is very hard to be mad at somebody that's always nice to you. Right. So good energy attracts good energy. So if I pour into you, you'll pour back into me, and then now we all get to grow from it. And additionally, we get to grow closer as a result, because it doesn't come with a stipulation, and it's not transactional. So if we connecting, and I legitimately want you to win, you can feel that in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but if I'm just trying to sell you something, and I'm telling you the bells and whistles and what you may be able to get as a result of buying this product, whatever, like, nobody really cares about that long term. But if we can build this relationship, at some point, somebody will need me, and vice versa. And now let me make sure that I send this business to you. It happens all of the time. So now when we're building our network, and if people are accustomed to that feeling around you, then they'll come to your events. They'll listen to the podcast. They'll show up. They'll buy a T-shirt, right? because they like the feeling. So when you do all of these things consistently, now that's telling everybody that this is who I am all the time. This is me. So whenever you show up, I have this kind of energy for you. So I want to make sure that it feels good. It makes sense. And then we can move to the next step, which is in your benefit. So if everybody operated that way, when you go into these relationships with good intentions, it can't help but grow. It's impossible to fail.
It is impossible.
But if you're kind of shady and you're trying to hold back, and I'm going to manipulate these people for that and try to get over on this, and you put out terrible energy, at some point it's going to all collapse. But if you put out good energy consistently, then it can't help but grow. And it's contagious.
Right. Very contagious. My license plate, Jason, it's have fun, all one word. And I've had people track me down. They've seen me get out of my vehicle or whatever, and they might be, just a few feet behind me, and they may holler and say, "Hey, I love your license plate," or, and it's such a conversation starter. It's a relationship builder sometimes, but, I can always say, thank you. I love to have a great time, or life should be all about having fun. I just have a few taglines that I use whenever somebody tells me that. And it starts some positive energy around a conversation over a stinking license plate. but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good to have a conversation about that. And depending upon how I react to what they say to me, it can change their day. All about just having fun. And when I got that license plate, and I've had it for years, I had no idea about the positivity that could come from that license plate. But it has been a ball of fun. I'll never get rid of it. I'll have it till I go to my grave, because it is such a conversation piece, a positive conversation piece. So let's talk about a goofball. Who are the goofballs in the sales world? I love that. And I've used you a couple of times. I have been in conversation with someone and I can say, I'm going to point out a goofball situation, as my friend Jason Integrity would call it. So if you ever feel your ears burning, you might say, Tonya just used the word goofball and gave me credit, because I love the way that you identify the goofballs in the sales world. So share with the community or our tribes who the goofballs are in society of the sales world.
Yeah. So the goofballs are it's something that I noticed. It probably started on LinkedIn a few years ago, where it's people that's just spamming and they're not trying to connect. They're not trying to grow. I'm just trying to sell the thing. And I hope somebody buys the thing. Hey, did I offer you the thing? Right. so it's just goofball behavior, because you're not trying to do anything. You're so focused on what you want. You're not thinking about helping anyone. You're not thinking about making an impact on the community or the environment or even connecting. You're just trying to sell the thing. And that's goofball behavior. So we see it in every facet of marketing and sales, right? So you'll see the spam come into your inbox. You'll see people put out what they consider educating the consumer, where it's just this ad disguised as a post, and it's all about them, and they're not really trying to solve a problem. I just want you to buy the thing. So it's so selfish of a mindset that it kind of sabotages your growth. So I started identifying it as goofball behavior, and I just started talking about it. And on don't be a goofball.com is actually all spelled out right here. The things that you do as a goofball. I have a workshop on there with the great Sue Brooke, where we talk about networking with a purpose and how to connect with people and have a focus that's actually conducive to growth, as opposed to just trying to pitch and pitch and pitch and pitch. So much of it is the terrible sales training that we received years ago, where, always be closing and 10 no's lead to a yes and all that weird stuff, so you go and you just press people with this selfish intent of, I'm just trying to sell you something, as opposed to actually building authentic relationships that are mutually beneficial. So I attack it that way.
And I love it. I love it. I actually think that was the first sales training that I attended with you and Sue. Okay. And I think that's when I decided I have to connect with this guy because you did such a wonderful job. But I love that analogy of being a goofball. And so, for those of you who missed that, it's don'tbeagoofball.com. You need to check that out on his website, or that website. And he also has a shirt that says don't be a goofball. I would highly encourage you. I've not bought one yet, but I keep saying I'm going to. I need one for every day of the week, actually.
I have some new ones coming out shortly.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So okay. It's going to be hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Well, I may wait to see what the new ones look like before I purchase, because I have got to have one of those shirts, because I'm not kidding you. I have used that term and have given you credit multiple times, because it's just so right on for what happens.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it would. So it started off with just me saying it, and I said it so much that other people started saying it, and then I had someone ask me in one of the trainings, so are you going to talk about goofballs today? And I'm like, oh, that's a thing now. All right, so let me develop it all the way out.
It is a thing. You do. I mean, really, you need to market that shirt and that term, because I think it could really take off. It is the best. It really is. You need to make a meme, a GIF out of that. Go to jiffy.com and make a true GIF. I would use it. I would. I'm getting ready to make some GIFs myself. And because I'm seeing that some of the influencers out there that are making those today, they're going viral. And I'm like, gosh, what a great way to get your brand out. And I'm getting ready to do that myself. And you really should do one.
That's a great idea. I like it.
You should do that with that one, because I could probably use it daily, not just in sales, but in a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's a goofball idea or just whatever. You could really take that, because the little emoji and all that you use is perfect. I love it. So how do you cultivate a purpose-driven approach in your sales training? And why is that so important?
Your why is crucial. I see that you have it even behind you. Believe in your why. It's crucial. This is what drives you. So when the motivation isn't there, we fall back on the discipline. So why are we disciplined, right? And that's your why. So understanding your purpose and why these conversations are important. And it'll give you a little bit more patience, especially when you run into goofballs, right? So you don't want to cancel the day because of one person. So because your why will keep you going. So understanding your purpose, understanding your why, how all of this comes together, and what is the point? Why am I working so hard? Why am I getting up so early? Why am I skipping meals in order to do this thing? So if your purpose isn't clear, then all of this is work. and you're just working for no reason, right? But if you understand your purpose, then every day is a holiday, because you're getting closer and closer to this ultimate goal of what your vision is for the world and how you want to impact and make change. So understanding your purpose separates the lean from the fat, because now you can isolate the things that are supporting this goal, supporting your purpose, and the things that aren't. It's very, very easy to get rid of, because it's like, this is not helping me anyway. So additionally, when you are talking to a potential client, or if you're networking and you're speaking about something that you really care about, that energy comes through. Your purpose shines, and people can feel it, because you're speaking with a passion, and you actually care about what you're talking about. And that separates you from everybody else. I have sold a lot of products, and some of them weren't quite that good. And the second that I found out that this is a terrible product, I still work for this company, and I still got to sell it. But I don't have the enthusiasm that I would if it actually delivered what I thought it would, right? So, and this is how a lot of salespeople end up bouncing company to company, because they start to figure out, like, this is not as great as I thought it was. So let me go somewhere else where I can get behind this product, and it's eventually you're going to end up starting your own company, because you're going to find out that all of that stuff is terrible. And so now that you're selling something that you care about, which is yourself and your product and why you started your company, it's an easier conversation. But that passion comes out because it's driven by your purpose. It's driven by something, instead of just, I need to make money.
So that segues perfectly into my next thought that I had for you. And you mentioned again on your website that businesses get out what they put into it. And so can you share, or do you have a specific business, or maybe even one of your clients that you've worked with, where they completely turned everything around by simply just adjusting their energy and focus?
Oh yeah, it happens daily. This is an everyday thing. This is what makes my job fun. Because
it does, doesn't it?
A lot of what we do, we're doing it because we think it's the right thing to do, not necessarily because it's a part of what's driving us. But somebody said, get on social media and post 13 times a day. So, okay, I guess I got to do that, right? Somebody said I got to go to 10 networking events a week. All right, so now I'm here. So you're just going through the motion based on what the industries are telling you, or some fake guru, but it's not necessarily tailored to you and how you live and the way that you want to work. So one of the things that we do in the beginning is, okay, what parts of this don't you like? I don't like posting on social media. All right, then stop.
Yeah.
Let's cut that out. Let's stop showing up in places that you don't want to be. And then now let's start building this in a way that feels good to you and that is linked to your drive and your passion. So now it's not difficult to do. It's just work. It's very, very hard overcoming several things before you even leave the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's not put ourselves in that situation to where you have to get over it before you even start. Let's link this directly to why you're here. So now when you go into these networking events, you have something to talk about instead of, I work with small, medium-sized businesses and I try to help them with the blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares about any of that anyway. But if you're actually connecting with people and speaking with passion, it changes your conversation. So after having that and getting that clear and your why is clear and your purpose is clear and how we have this conversation is clear, completely changes your conversation. So when you go to meet a potential customer, you're not selling anymore. I'm not trying to pitch. I'm just having a conversation. So I think that's the biggest impact that we make to where just about all of my clients, I guess I got to say 99%. 99% of my clients will come back and say, it doesn't feel like I'm selling now. It feels like I'm just talking to people. Like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do is talk to people. It'll sell itself if we build out the customer journey properly. If you're connected to, if you're connecting properly, if you're targeting properly. So now you're having a very, very intimate conversation with somebody who you know already needs you. And the reason that we're this far into the conversation is because they came to you based on the marketing that you're doing. So you attracted them naturally. And now you get to have this conversation. And now every day is a holiday. So we do this all the time. This is a daily occurrence to where somebody has that, hey, this is way different than I thought it would be. And it's like, yeah, now it's you doing it your way in a system that's tailored for you. So now all you have to do is just be authentic. And that takes away all of the weird stuff of I have to go and impress the world and try to convince them that I'm great. You're already great. So just do it and go out here and be yourself. So giving them that confidence and trimming away the fat of all of the nonsense, that makes an impact almost immediately.
Yeah. They've stopped stressing over those things they thought they had to do and be, and they were putting all that pressure on themselves. But then when you told them, hey, let's focus on what you're good at, then they let that go. But I have found that when you do that and then they start getting really good at what they're really good at, and that's where their focus is. Mm-hmm. And then they build that confidence and they're seeing they're getting those results. They come back and they're like, okay, I think I want to add what maybe one of those focuses were before. Mm-hmm. And then they see great results, or they see some results. And then they're like, oh, wow, now I think I'm ready to incorporate more of that. Mm-hmm. And they just continue to build that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
In the Smile Network, we just, we were talking about content, and we had a session where we were building out content together. And one of my members, she created her post and she posted it, and people immediately started interacting with it, and they were engaged. And she goes, "It's working. It's working." I'm like, yeah, it's working. It's supposed to work. but it's so much of it is you have people telling us terrible information based on zero experience, but it sounds good, and they got, they're out here and they're kind of manipulating the system, pitching in a certain way, and you think that that's the way that everyone has to do it. So it's very dope to see that light bulb come on and that confidence go up.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is. So in the ever evolving landscape of sales and marketing, do you have any thoughts about current trends that entrepreneurs and small business owners should focus on or be aware of?
If you are not using AI, you are a dinosaur at this point. You have to use AI. Not from the standpoint of you need a whole lot of automation, but for the processes that you already have, it speeds up the process. I was working with one of my clients. She was putting together a proposal for a hospital. She's a health coach. And we created this proposal using AI. and it took us 20 minutes. It normally takes 4 hours to put this kind of proposal together and pull the research and all this in 20 minutes. So
It is
if you're not
amazing.
using AI, use AI, and it's not as scary as you think it is. It is a tool. It's not going to replace anything that you're doing, but it helps, and it can write faster than you, and it can process and pull research faster than you can. So use the tool. Use the tool your way. Figure out a way that's comfortable for you. Don't try to do what everybody else do it. And I saw a guy on YouTube that he was using AI to pick his stocks and make purchases, and he did all of this stuff. And at the end of the month, he actually made money. But that's a lot. I don't know if I trust it like that. But for the way that I use it, it probably cuts. With no exaggeration, it probably cuts like 20 hours a week down for me.
That's phenomenal. That's good. Yeah, I keep telling people too, if you're not using it, you better get started, because you're going to be left behind if you don't learn it. I mean, Google's got barred. Microsoft 360 is fixing to launch. I just went blank on what theirs is called, but it's awesome. It's coming, whether they're prepared or not.
It does so much so fast, and it learns. So being able to use the prompts and have a conversation with it, so where it understands what you want, and then now it's going to do that every time. It's phenomenal. So if you use it as a tool, you'll keep winning. If you try to use it to replace stuff, then you're going to run into problems. But it makes everything better, faster.
100% agree. For entrepreneurs just starting out, what's one piece of advice that you wish somebody had given you before you started your sales career?
Stop hanging out with all of the people that you're hanging out with now. If they are not encouraging, leave them now. They're not going to get it one day. They're not going to all of a sudden get on board. Stop spending so much time with them, because they only see you as the person that you were last year. They don't see where you're going, and they don't see who you are now. So make the adjustment and start finding people who are encouraging and who are trying to accomplish the same things that you are. When I first started my first company, all of my friends had jobs. So and instantly, I'm crazy. What are you doing trying to start a company in this economy at this time while all of this stuff is going on? Because I don't want to work for them anymore. I want to start my own company. I generate millions of dollars. I don't make millions of dollars.
Another feeling.
Right? So it's I'm not doing that anymore. So everybody thought I was crazy. Now, if I was able to find a more nurturing environment, my business would have taken off way faster. But I'm trying to convince people that what I'm doing isn't crazy and is worth it. But now I'm doubting myself, because all I have around me is negativity. So find people who are trying to grow in the same way that you're trying to grow. And with social media and Alignable and LinkedIn, you can find them way faster now than I could back in 2010. So it's super important to associate yourself with positivity and growth. And if your friends aren't recommending books or sending you videos or articles or stuff that you should read, or inviting you to events where you can become better, then you need new friends.
100% agree. And you need to be teaching your children the very same thing. I mean, I work with my granddaughter. She's 11, and I've taught her that over the summer. And I mean, she disconnected from a group of drama girls and has moved to a whole new set of friends, for this school year. And for the past month, it's been working great. But I mean, it was stressful for her to disconnect. We went through, what do I say? What do I do? How do I respond to this text message but she at 11 years old can tell you what a difference it feels to disconnect from drama and being in an environment of positivity. And so it's not just for people our age or the millennials or, the teenagers. It goes all the way down to the toddlers. Teach them young to be around positivity and need to speak that,
it's so
from
important.
now on.
It's so important. And we don't understand coming up how important it was, because like you only know what you know, right? And the people that you're around. And I'm not saying that these are bad people. They're just not going where you want to go.
No.
So and if they don't want to go, and this applies 100% to everything. If I'm trying to move to Europe and my wife doesn't want to go, one of us has to make a decision. Right?
Exactly.
I want to go. You don't want to go. So are you going to go, or am I going to stay here?
Right.
Or we just have to separate, and I do my thing and you do yours. That doesn't mean that we're terrible people. It just means that our goals don't align anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if you have to make that adjustment, it's just an adjustment. And I'm not saying that it's easy. It is difficult in most cases, but this is the best thing for you based on what you want to do. And I've never had anybody, in fact, this is probably my first time saying this out loud, but I've never had anybody tell me this. I had to figure that out along the way. So if you are a new entrepreneur or even thinking about starting your own business, take a good look at the people around you. And because remember the saying, you are the common, you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So if you're trying to start a business and your 5 closest friends are all working regular jobs, then that's not conducive for your growth. You're going to fall back into that at some point. And the second that it gets difficult, you're going to go, all right, man, maybe I should just get a regular job. But if you have friends and they're entrepreneurs and they've gone through the struggle with you, it's not so difficult. And when one of you have success, all of you win. And that feeling is electric and is contagious. And now we're all motivated to keep going. So pay attention to who you have around you, and are they going in the same direction that you want to go?
And you should evaluate that group of people often, and don't be afraid to break those ties. 6 months, 12 months down the road, if you've had someone that's been a good influence and then they turn and go the opposite direction. But, I talk about it from the standpoint of leadership. Somebody's got to lead and somebody's got to follow. Which one do you want to be? And that's exactly the way I had the conversation with my granddaughter. And I said, hopefully you want to be the leader, but you're definitely not leading.
That's a great conversation to have at 11. That's awesome.
And I told her, I said, in this situation over here where drama is, you're not leading, you're following. And, you need to make a decision. Are you going to continue to follow, or are you going to lead? And she said, Mimi, I want to lead. And I said, well, then you've got to lead by disconnecting. And so, that's what she chose to do. And hopefully, she will continue with that decision. So far, we're a month in and we're still going strong. So, but it's never too early to start those conversations with your people. So, Jason, do you have a product or a program that you want to currently give a shout out to, that if there's anyone in the community that would like to take advantage of?
Not really. Everything is tailored for you. So if you are worried about your marketing and sales process, if selling feels weird to you, and just talk to me. I can help you, and we'll figure out the direction that you need to go based on how fast you want to move. Right. So I have a couple of different programs where we meet once a month. I have a program where we meet twice a month. I have one that we meet weekly. It just depends on how fast you want to move.
Right.
We have the Smile Network on Alignable. That's a paid group. Smile stands for Sales and Marketing Innovative Learning Experience. So you're learning sales and marketing. We're working and we're doing it as a community. So you're not in this fight by yourself. You get a chance to work with people in different industries and see that you all have the same problem. So now we get to collectively come up with the solutions and make the changes. And then now as we implement the new strategies, you can see how it's working for you and everyone else. And it's different for everybody, but we work together. It's super dope. We have a great time on that. But other than that, yeah, I'm on everything that you own. So just find me.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So where can people find you if they do want to work with you?
Yeah. You can go straight to the website, integritygo.com. I'm on every platform that you're on, Jason Integrity. So if you're on Facebook, find me on Facebook. I'm there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all this stuff. I spend majority of my time on Alignable though. But we all have to have a presence on other platforms because I have clients. They spend a lot of time on Twitter. So while I'm with them, I'm on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now.
Yeah. I had someone say today, they gave a shout out to Twitter. They said on Twitter, X, I refuse to call it X right now, but so yeah, I get it. All right. Well, Jason, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. And so in closing, for all of you that are listening, whether you're listening today or you're listening next week or 30 days from now, I want you to do me a favor and I want you to pick up your phone or take your mouse and I want you to click on the subscribe button so that you will get notifications as these podcasts are released. And until the next episode comes out, I want to say goodbye and have a very blessed week. Thank you for listening.